All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're doing something really cool. We are literally deconstructing the ultimate blueprint for a premium networking fundamentals masterclass. It's kind of like looking at the matrix of how top-tier cybersecurity education is actually built. We're looking at a highly detailed, structured prompt designed to generate a comprehensive 30 to 60-minute lesson. We aren't just learning about networking today. We're figuring out the exact anatomy of how to teach it effectively to a modern audience. Now think about the sheer level of credibility this source material demands. It's asking for an instructor persona with over 2 decades of experience. But it's not just the time, it's the incredible breadth. We're talking about someone who is an ethical hacker, a penetration tester, a SOC analyst, a digital forensics expert, and a cloud security architect. That's a massive, multidisciplinary skill set. It guarantees the curriculum isn't just dry theory, it's infused with actual, in-the-trenches expertise from every single corner of the digital battlefield.
To wrap our heads around this massive curriculum prompt, we're going to logically break the whole syllabus down into 4 easy-to-digest pillars. First, the anatomy of a masterclass. Second, bridging theory and practice. Third, advancing your cyber career. And finally, testing and future scope.
So, let's kick things off with Part 1, the anatomy of a masterclass, and how we actually frame the course. There's a really fascinating duality here. The blueprint explicitly says to explain everything in very simple English so that absolute beginners can easily follow along. But in the exact same breath, it demands professional depth, meaning it has to be detailed enough for a high-level educational production. That is a super delicate balancing act, right? You've got to strip away all that confusing jargon without dumbing down the technical accuracy. You're basically inviting the novice in while keeping the seasoned professional completely hooked. And every great lesson needs a rock-solid foundation. That's why the blueprint mandates these specific structural essentials. It starts with a professional intro and immediately hits on why this topic matters. This is absolutely crucial for adult learners, because honestly, if we don't know why we're learning something, we just don't retain it. Then, the whole thing is bookended with a solid summary and proper references for further reading. It grounds the learner from minute 1 all the way to the end. Moving right along to Part 2, bridging theory and practice, how do we take it from the textbook to the real world? Because let's face it, theory alone is definitely not going to stop a real-world hacker. The blueprint brilliantly contrasts necessary academic theory, things like visual explanations and text-based topology diagrams, with street-smart, practical application. Knowing the theory is just half the battle. To really cross that bridge into true comprehension, it requires live labs and practical demonstrations. The student actually gets to watch the instructor manipulate networks in real time and see exactly where the vulnerabilities are hiding. To make sure nobody's just memorizing facts in a vacuum, the curriculum demands intense real-world integration. And this is where that 20 years of experience really comes into play. It mandates real-world examples and industry best practices. But honestly, the best part? It focuses heavily on common mistakes and security tips. Learning what not to do from a seasoned pro can literally save a junior analyst from making a critical error on the job. Plus, wrapping it all in a professional workflow means you're learning how these tools actually fit into a daily operational routine. Okay, let's jump to Part 3, advancing your cyber career. This is all about the actual return on investment. Look at this alphabet soup of industry gold standards. The Masterclass explicitly targets major certifications, from your foundational Security Plus all the way up to elite offensive benchmarks like the OSCP and CISSP. By doing this, the content is directly aligned with what hiring managers actually want to see. It's basically telling the learner, hey, the fundamentals you're learning right now are the exact concepts you need to pass these formidable exams. It completely elevates the value of the whole class. And it doesn't just throw facts at you, it acts almost like a mentorship tool. The instructor has to map out a clear career roadmap. It guides the student step by step from being an absolute beginner, logically progressing all the way to professional mastery. It answers that massive lingering question we all have after learning something new. Okay, where do I actually go from here? But it goes way beyond just technical skills. The syllabus demands crucial real-world job prep. We're talking interview questions to prep you for hiring managers and transparent salary expectations so you know your worth. And this is really unique. It includes a freelancer perspective with actual client project examples. That is incredibly forward-thinking because not everyone wants a traditional corporate role, right? It gives independent consultants the exact context they need to sell their networking expertise directly to clients. Finally, we hit Part 4, testing and future scope. It's time to prove your grit. You can't just passively watch this lesson and walk away. To really validate understanding, the blueprint builds in a rigorous testing gauntlet.
It requires homework to keep you engaged, a highly specific 20-question quiz to objectively measure retention, and to truly test your grit, both a mini project and a full-scale project. These force you to take everything, the theory, the live labs, the best practices, and synthesize it into a real demonstratable outcome.
And to make sure you're future-proofed, the curriculum insists on looking ahead. The digital landscape shifts literally every single day, so a masterclass can't just look backward. It has to cover the absolute latest cyber attacks. And crucially, it mandates the inclusion of AI tools. It acknowledges that artificial intelligence is totally rewriting the rules of how networks are both defended and attacked. Exploring this future scope guarantees that what you learn today won't be completely obsolete by next year.
So, based on this heavy emphasis on the future, it leaves us with a really critical question. How will the rapid, evolving nature of AI and these next-gen cyber attacks completely reshape the very networking fundamentals we rely on tomorrow? The concepts we think of as set in stone today might be entirely redefined by intelligent automated networks very soon. It is a wild thought, and it just proves why continuous structured learning is absolutely essential. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep questioning the fundamentals.